letakkan satu slide talk yang sebenarnya saya gunakan di Australia dan New Zealand. I was hired ataupun I was asked by Malaysian Airlines and Tourism Malaysia to go around New Zealand and Australia giving talks to various parties, travel agents and what have you, to promote tourism and to promote the use of Malaysian Airlines. And then they want me to tell the New Zealanders and the Australians on our biodiversity. So I thought when I was invited from Tasha, maybe I would just tweak a little bit on the slides that I've been traveling around Australia and New Zealand, talking to all these people on biodiversity. But while I was doing that, I was a visiting professor for Institute of Biodiversity. So I thought I would emphasize on biodiversity. What is it that we have known about biodiversity, and what are the known unknowns? Kita tahu benda tu ada, tapi still we don't really know. This is what I want to emphasize upon you, and this is where research comes in. So the institute is a research institute, so I thought by tweaking my talk at that level, I think it might serve the institute as well as the students associated with the institute. Okay, the first question is how rich and diverse are our species? Biodiversity in the last 2 decades have become a household word. Semua orang cakap pasal biodiversity. Politicians, parents, children in schools, students at universities, no matter what bidang they are, they always talk about biodiversity. Yes, it's good. But do we really know how good our biodiversity is? You know, we are always saying we are the 12th, one of the 12 mega diverse country in the world as far as biodiversity. But do we really know how rich and diverse our biodiversity is? When I give my talk to New Zealand, to Australia, I always have these slides. In the first place, Malaysian biodiversity is very much number 1 of the 12 because of the Borneo biodiversity. Kalau harapkan peninsula biodiversity alone, we won't be 1 of the 12. But because Sabah and Sarawak is part of Malaysia, is their contribution to Borneo biodiversity that makes us 1 of the 12 biodiverse countries in the world. Okay, how rich is the Borneo biodiversity? I always put this slide on. Marah orang New Zealanders, I would compare. For instance, plants. We have 15,000 species, and 6,000 of these plants were found nowhere else in the world but in Borneo. Banding dengan New Zealand, they only have 2,500 higher plants. Trees, we have 3,000 species. Out of these trees, the timber trees, the pterocarps, we have 265 species. And look, 155 of these 265 are found nowhere else but in Sabah and Sarawak or other parts of Borneo. Orchids, 2,000 species. Rafflesia, 16 species. Let's go to mammals, 288 species. Berapa New Zealand ada? 2. species of mammal in the entire New Zealand. Bats, 102 species. New Zealand, 3. Even the third one tu pun mungkin subspecies. Okay, that's how rich, how diverse we are. Rats and mice, 61 species. Marine mammals, 91 species. Birds, 600 species. New Zealand, 91 bird species. Ants, 639 species. Freshwater fish, 394 species. New Zealand, 38 freshwater species. Frogs, we have 150 species. New Zealand, 7. Dari 10 pun tak habis nak bilang. 7 frog species. Lizards, 105 species. New Zealand banyak sikit. Geckos, they have about 80 skinks and geckos. If you still cannot envision, you cannot picture how rich we are, bayangkan, we have 700 species in a 10-hectare plot. In a 10-hectare plot, you masuk hutan, 10-hectare plot, we have 700 species. The entire Canada and United States of America has this number of species. Okay? So, bayangkan how lucky we are. So every time you say we are the most diverse country in the world, one of the 12 mega hotspots in biodiversity, this is what it really is. And out of that, every now and again, new species are still being discovered. For the last 10 years, 3 new species discovered each month. Not only rediscovered, kita memang ada species tu, tapi nobody but rediscovered. For instance, this micro-hyla frog, tengok size dia compared to the penny. That's how small the frog is. It's a micro frog, and this frog was reported to have been extinct until Professor Indranil Das from UNIMAS rediscovered it in 2010. So species has been rediscovered. Professor Indranil Das again rediscovered, tak berapa nampak. This Borneo rainbow toad, it was last seen sebelum saya beranak. 1924, it was last seen. But it takes Indranil Das to rediscover it in 2011. So species has been extinct and rediscovered. Kalau you tengok, memang susah nak apa, kata susah lah. No, species are rediscovered, even big ones like these owls in Ranjani, Indonesia. Mouse deer in Vietnam recently. So there are big animals, big flora are rediscovered. Tak payah katak yang besar. So there are things to be rediscovered out there. Bukan saja biodiversity, setakat saya cakap tadi, we are still discovering new species, and people like me also were given names like this. Butterfly were given names Italia, Ghazally and Ismail.
Your name?
Yes, this is my species. This is my species, Nepenthes. Priokera, tak ada gambar cantik. Okay? So, things are rediscovered, discovered. So, as a student who was still going to be going into biodiversity, the chances, the opportunities are jane out there. Rajin lah sikit masukkan. Jangan bertabur macam ya. Okay? So, that gives you an idea how rich, how diverse our flora and fauna. So how do they become diverse and rich like this? Over millions, hundreds of millions of years, species has adapted and evolved. Some of these is because of the richness of the ecology, of the habitat that we have. Starting from Mount Kinabalu, subalpine. We have, this is the Kinabalu, the top of Kinabalu. You tengok ada crack on the plateau. Even in those cracks, ada species that survive. This is, kalau kat New Zealand, we call this Manuka, Leptospermum genus. Manuka honey is the #1 in the world. We have Leptospermum species that's only found nowhere else in the world but on Kinabalu. Leptospermum recurva. Have you heard of rhododendrons? These are flowers that my neighbor kat New Zealand ada, I pun ada, very, very common, but they are big. We have the smallest rhododendron in the world. Tengok. Kat tepi. Okay? Kalau bandingkan dengan saya punya rhododendron lah. Okay? So there are specialties. Not only we are rich and diverse, we have special ones that are only found in Malaysia. Itu yang saya grow sebelah rumah saya every year, and that's the size. Kalau you pergi Kinabalu, siapa dah naik Kinabalu? Belum. Okay. I think, you know, it's good to make a trip there one of these days before you graduate. We can even find raspberries. Mana ada raspberries kat tropical countries? But in Malaysia, we do have raspberries. Kita excited, raspberries. But raspberries are like, kalau I jalan-jalan masuk hutan kat New Zealand, macam I nampak, ui, durian. That's how special it is. Okay? And in some parts, not above the plateau, kalau you turun sikit Kinabalu, there are habitat, the humic acid, that means baja on the tak nampak pun, semua kuning. Even on those habitat, plants have evolved and adapted to survive, like the periuk. These are nepenthes that do not have to have black soils on the earth, but to trap insects and live. Okay, so they have leaves that are modified into buds, sebab tu kita panggil dia periuk kera. The insects will slip in and they will have enzymes that digest the insects, and that becomes the nutrient for the plant to survive. So they adapt and evolve. And Kinabalu alone is supposed to be the center of Nepenthes pitcher plants in the world. Mount Kinabalu has 9 species out of 31 species in the world, and out of that 9 species, 4 are found nowhere else in the world but Kinabalu. What I'm trying to express is we are not only diverse and rich, but we are also special in the sense of nature that is presented to our biodiversity. For instance, you turun sikit lagi Kinabalu tu, you will sometimes find a Kinabalu giant earthworm. That's blood. It's blood. Okay? And this earthworm is the only food for a giant leech. Dia sebelah, bintang. Dia tak makan benda lain, hanya cacing. Over millions of years. Over millions of years, this has survived. Bayangkan you hidup ni makan satu benda. Tapi benda tu mesti keluar masa you nak. For these two, the worms, kalau hujan genyai-genyai, the worm would come out. And also, macam mana dia pakai cellphone ke apa tak tahulah, the leech would also come. Bertemu. They are predestined to meet, but never to live happily ever after. The leech will eat the worm and worm mati. And this has been going on for millions of years. Okay? So in order to appreciate biodiversity, we had to know things like this. This was discovered by a team of BBC filming. They filmed it. They waited and waited and waited. I was there with Alim. That shot alone, was $2 million. Just a few minutes in a shot. This is how the shots from there. That's the beach eating the road. And that's it. That's the end of the road. Okay? Now, as you go down Kinabalu, you will see these canopies of the rainforest. But I have always been impressed by a naturalist, William Beebe, who said there's another continent of life that remains to be discovered. Not upon the earth, but 100 or 200 feet above it, extending over thousands of square miles. It's in the canopy. And it's very important for you to make this aware by people like children. I tell you of one incident when Glenn came to Kuala Lumpur. Glenn, the first one to walk on the surface of the moon, came to the Kuala Lumpur to show Malaysians the moon rock. So astronaut Glenn gave a talk in Petaling Hall. At that time, my daughter was going. She was only about maybe 16. Kat sekolah menengah sains lah. She was in the audience. After the Glenn dan buat ni, question from the floor. And then anak I, Aziza, my eldest daughter, 16-year-old in her school uniform, walk up and then get a mic and say, according to my father, the Americans spend millions to explore the surface of the moon, when the surface of the earth we know hardly anything. That's what my daughter asked Glenn. Why? We hardly know the surface of the earth, which is the canopy. Hardly know anything, and yet we are spending millions to study the surface of the moon, which astronaut Glenn came to tell how proud he is. Astronaut Glenn got up and said, "Who told you that?" "My father." "Your father is a wise man. Yes, my father is Professor Ghazally. My daughter said that, just imagine, to an astronaut, the impact it has on the audience. That's what I want you. University graduates, when you got married, this act of bringing awareness to the society about pollution. Sekarang kita tengok plastik, paper bag, baru nak ada. You must start dengan anak-anak you from school. Okay? This is another thing that's the you may think it's hard, but it's easier to play to budak-budak kecil. Okay? So start early. So if you go into the forest, you tak nampak canopy, but this is what you see. Huge trees. All we could see is just tengok atas, apa ada kat atas. But the birds has evolved and adapted to live up there. So in 1985, I was hopping around the world, especially US, with Datuk, the director of Sabah Park, to build a canopy walkway in Borneo. We went to all kinds of museums in Sabah, in US. We were given $50,000 by Man and Biosphere to build this first canopy walkway. Well, actually second. Yeah, the first one was at the frame built by the American group working at during the colonial time. But this is the first one after that one. That one was condemned in Borneo. And now you see almost every state, they panggil the people who built this lagi. To build Perlis ada, KL ada, macam-macam canopy walkway. Why? Because we realize this. Most of our biodiversity is up there, and kalau kita nak belajar biodiversity, jalan-jalan atas tanah, we can never document all our flora and fauna. Okay, so we got some money, we built this. One section was for the tourists to make money. We charged them to make money, and another section, I think 150 meters, where we do research. And since then, this is, if you see from the canopy walkway, you can see the crown shy phenomena. I explained that later on. This densest of biodiversity is found in the forest canopy. It is home for 50,000 of all plant species, 30 million species of invertebrates, insects, suggesting that all life on Earth, half of them, can be found up here. So yes, it is worthy to have a canopy walkway. If the Institute want to champion it, I would support it, because half of the world's biodiversity is out there. And you can study all kinds of things. I remember one night, because we have platforms from one canopy walkway to, I would be sleeping on the platform 40 meters up there at night with a lampu, you know, and then slow lorries would come using the rope, come and look apa benda manusia buat ke atas. They are not afraid, because they've never seen, they've never been intruded before. They will come and go back. And then I remember one of the studies that we had was, we had this white paper with glue on one side, and then we put light bulb at the back of the white paper. Similarly, we had macam kelambu with pockets, the light bulb, and we hang from the canopy all the way down, 40 meters down. Malam, the insects will see the light, go towards it, and got stuck on the paper. Okay? So in the morning, we would count what are the insects that are stuck at this height, at this height, at this height. There seems to be a stratification of abundance of insects, the type of insects with heights in the canopy. We published them. Easy studies like that can be done. But without a canopy walkway, we can't do it. See? These are the sort of things in research you can never get good results until you ask good questions. So all you need to do is ask good question. Very easy, tak payah 10,000 macam Prof. cakap tadi. Beli kertas, gum, bulb, gantung. And we publish it in the Journal of Ecology. You see? So it doesn't really cost much to do good research. But we must ask good questions. So with all those gaps, you see the gap there, that's the phenomena of crown shyness. With all those gaps, animals then evolve. How to get from one tree to another? Some crawl on the branches like the lizards. If the cat is going to evolve, they learn how to fly or glide, flying lizards. Not just lizards, even frogs learn how to fly or glide. Wallace frog. So these are what I say, why do we have so many species? Because species evolve. And then, bukan reptiles, even mammals learn how to fly. Flying squirrel. I can take you to one spot. I always take my students in Tower Hills Park. We would just stand there, and then by 5:30 in the evening, this is what you see. Okay, from one tree to another. Macam dia pakai jump. And 10 years later, I would go to Tower Hills Park. I would sit there. I could still see this. Bukan yang sama lah, cucu nenek apa dia. But it's been repeated. You see? So these are the sort of thing, observation that makes biodiversity interesting. Not only just mammals, even snakes can fly. This is a flying snake, paradise snake. It glides actually. So it would fly like this. Yeah, it flattens its body, and then even when it flattens, they will control it. Where to land on the river. These are paradise. Okay. So, and then evolved. Birds. Once upon a time, these hornbill have short beaks. Pasal the berries, the fruits, tak payah panjang-panjang lah, pendek pun beak pun tak apa. Okay? And then, due to competition, birds evolve longer beaks. Kalau yang jauh-jauh tu dia aja yang dapat. The ones with the short beak would miss out. Okay? And then, bukan pasal apa birds saja dia evolve. Even the plants, kalau dia kecil, soft apa, senang dimakan, dia pun evolve duri. That's how fruits, ini bawah, durian.